Hello and welcome back everybody to the quarterfinals of the Dota League Season 3 European Division 1 xGame KC versus Team Coast Gaming in a best of 3. We are at the moment looking at Game 2 where hopefully Coast Gaming will make a comeback, just tie up the series for us to actually get a third game out of this as well, but we're already in the draft. We are HeflaTV, I'm Coucher, and once again I am joined by Mr. Blackadder.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and as we go straight into this draft, we already see the pest of a death prophet, so we're looking for some kind of push-oriented style from Team Coast.
Yeah, I think they are a team that has run that hero pretty damn often. I guess nowadays most teams run it, but xGame picking out a straight-off Naga Siren together with a Mirana. I mean, some teams do run a support Naga Siren every now and then, and Snare is a decent enough setup for the arrow, but... man, what do you think of the straight-off Naga pick?
Well, you know what I think about flexible heroes, yeah? Flexible heroes are good heroes. You can play them as a support, a call, without revealing your strategy to the enemy. The Naga will also stop that Death Prophet pushing just by song. It's going to buy a good amount of time, but you also got to now consider there is a Shadow Shaman for Team Coast, and they can push. It's going to be a fairly scary thing, but for xGame, the threat of a Tinker is there. The Tinker did not get banned out in the draft, and this could be a very good game for it. Or not. Going to be banned out just after I say that. Thank you, Coast. Ay, Solan.
Yeah, actually Hansken looks to be drafting for them.
That surprises me. Normally I expected Solan to be the drafter. It seems to have traded hands. No pun intended.
Yeah, well, at the moment, Shakira is the ban for xGame, so doesn't surprise me at all that you want to take up some or ban out some additional pushing power, since Death Prophet plus Shadow Shaman, like you already said, it is so damn scary in their own right. So if there's anything on top of that, it's going to be so hard for xGame to stop it. And of course, up against Naga Siren, if it's a core one, what's the best way to deal with him? Just get down buildings, end the game before the Naga Siren actually becomes a huge threat.
Or have something that can obliterate illusions, but the few heroes that I think of when it comes to obliterating illusions aren't there right now. But it seems we are in wombo combo territory.
Oh man.
Song of the Siren and
we need the darks here now as well.
Oh, that would make my day. We go back to TI2 style.
Yeah, just... those were the days, man. Those were the days. But Skyrift was the last ban from Coast. Nature's Prophet taken up by xGame, so... xGame 100% focusing on the pushing heroes in the second phase here. Of course, getting some push of their own, the Enigma. Eidolons can do a pretty scary job if not stopped. But what are the heroes still left? Viper is one to build a mech for their team if necessary. But that would mean possibly a tri-lane Viper here, which definitely isn't a bad thing. But it's the Doom pickup, and actually it was still available. Doom up against Enigma and Naga Siren. It is pretty damn strong.
Indeed, it damn well is. It's going to be a good way of stopping black holes, assuming the Doom doesn't get caught. Same for dealing with the Song of the Siren. Take her out of the fight, then kill everyone, then deal with her after the fight. Good way of dealing with it. But when I see this lineup, two words come to my mind. Lincoln's Sphere.
Yeah, it's definitely an item that they could go for at the moment. Of course, Naga Siren, I don't see that item too often on her, I think.
Doesn't necessarily have to be picked up by the Naga. You could see it picked up by the Mirana, then used on the Enigma or the Naga.
Well, depending on if it's a support or core Mirana for sure. I mean, Doom or Lincoln Sphere up against Shadow Shaman and Doom both is going to be pretty damn strong, to be honest. Just the immediate Blink Hex from Shadow Shaman is almost just as scary of a thing to go up against. So, definitely would be a worthy item. BKB doesn't help you all that much, but I wouldn't be too surprised if this was a game where Enigma goes for the BKB and the Lincolns, just in case. Of course, if he has the farm for it.
I would completely agree to that. And it's the kind of game where you don't need to rush a Blink Dagger, because you can have the Naga set up with the Song. And there's your Viper who's going to be carrying your mech. So a rushed BKB on Enigma would not be a bad thing. In fact, I near enough expect it in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I would be a huge fan of it, just because, I mean, the Death Prophet Silence, Shadow Shaman Hex, Shackles, Doom, Level Death, and the Doom ability itself. There's just already so much to disable the Black Hole, and having the Viper to go for the mech like you mentioned, it would be pretty damn strong. But now with the Sand King picked up on Team Coast, they actually, I think they have a really nicely balanced mix of damage. The Magical Burst from Epicenter, Shadow Shaman and their Shock as well, but physical damage from the Exorcism as well as the Mass Serpent Wards. So xGame, maybe Enigma will go for the mech after all, leaving Viper to even potentially go for a pipe in this game.
Well, if the Viper goes for a pipe, that can certainly work. It'll mitigate a lot of the epicenter damage, but that would then delay the Viper going for something damage-oriented, maybe a Aghanims on him. I mean, we all know the strength of an Aghanims Viper Strike. Who else could pick up a pipe? I mean, Nigma technically could. Not that I would expect it. I mean, we already say he needs either a Lincoln's or a BKB, or possibly both. The Mirana could pick up the pipe if she's a support. Same for the Naga if she's a support. It's a very flexible lineup to where you could put a pipe, but these last two picks are going to be so pivotal in this game. I mean, you already have Death Prophet mid as for Team Coast, plus Doom in the safe lane. Then you've got support Sand King / Shadow Shaman. You're looking for an offlaner for Team Coast. I mean, Clockwork would make a lot of sense. So would even Beastmaster in this case. I would actually dust off the old Beastmaster pick to this draft. I mean,
Beastmaster would be awesome with the Primal Roar.
Plus yeah, attack speed, scouting. Primal Roar, scouting power, the damage that he can apply, and hell, the attack speed aura. The attack speed aura will do a lot for the Death Prophet and the Doom. But xGame, they could equally consider, they've got a mid-Viper, they have potentially a core or a support Naga, core or a support Marana, jungle Nigma. Now, which of these are going to be the core, the Naga or the Marana, I wonder? I mean, part of me wants to say it'll be the Naga in the safe lane, and then you're looking for an offlaner from xGame. And when you think of offlaners, you could put the Nigma in the offlane, assuming it's not in the jungle, or we could be picking up the Elder Titan and just going for that full combination of let's just kill everything. Split Earth into Black Hole with Naga, Song of the Siren. You get the idea. Off the back of a Moonlight Shadow, that can be such a catastrophic initiation.
Yeah, it definitely has the potential to be one. I guess Elder Titan isn't all that popular, mostly used just up against heavy pushing lineups. At least unit-based pushing is really good to stop, but they will pick up the Clockwork instead. I guess a Clockwork with a Blade Mail isn't all too shabby up against, well, anything that Coast Gaming has to offer, especially up against Death Prophet. Just get him locked down, but do they have enough damage into the Chronosphere, not the Chronosphere, the Black Hole at the moment?
Well, if it's a core Naga, the Radiance will be there, Riptide adds up, Starstorm. It's a good question, do they have enough? I mean, it's a case of the Nigma can be there for pushing power, you mix in a Midnight Pulse maybe. I think there's enough damage, just. And it will also depend on how well the Naga / the Viper farm.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Doombringer and Death Prophet, they build themselves rather tanky as well, so might take a lot of xGame. Of course, it always depends on just how the laning phase goes, how much farm do you actually have. Man, if you have all the farm in the world, yes, you're gonna have enough damage, so we'll see Team Ghost. What will their last pick bring us at the moment? Will it be a Doom offlane, or do they want to play the Doom in a tri-lane once again, like in game number 1?
I think it'll be a safe lane tri-Doom, personally. I mean, sure, 8-Mother could run it in the offlane, but I wouldn't advise it, considering the Naga can
The Centaur is available still for Solan if he wants to?
Yeah, the Naga can do a lot of negative armor, which would cause problems with the Doom, and as you say, the Centaur is there. And Solan Centaur is a very powerful one, although he does play very good Sand King as well. He plays the initiated types of heroes, and either would work here, but they need some way to reliably bring down that Enigma. Stop him getting those black holes off. They have a good number of stuns, but a BKB can ruin all of them but Doom.
Oh man, we will see. They have about 27 seconds left, and a lot is on the line for Coast, because if they lose this, they will be out. xGame will advance to the semifinals if that were to be the case. So Coast, I mean, they have a pretty damn solid lineup at the moment. Lots of push coming on from them. A pretty good amount of lockdown as well, with even a silence on top of it all by Death Prophet, just in case. So Coast, oh, they're picking up an Invoker here, so it is going to be a Doom offlane after all, it looks like.
Okay, they're going to put Solan up on the Doom, so yes, Doom offlane, then you've got 8-Mother handling the Invoker and E-Skills and the Death Prophet. I'm expecting it to be a mid-Death Prophet just because it's E-Skills, and then a safe lane Invoker, because that's where 8-Mother generally will play, but honestly, I'm not sure about this Invoker pick. I honestly am not. Early game, the Invoker will suffer quite heavily, and he still doesn't have a reliable way to go through a BKB and stop an Enigma black holing.
Well, I guess it does increase their pushing power if it is to be an Exort Invoker. Get the Force Spirits running. Sunstrike into the Clockwork's own power cogs, maybe. But yeah, it's a little bit risky. At the very least, Invoker should be getting enough levels because Sand King most likely will be just stacking and farming out the jungle as it is anyway, so he won't be leeching all that much. Just wants to hit his level 3 and then he's fine to go.
Well, we'll see. We shall see. But as we open this game, I suppose we should do the responsible things, casters, and introduce the players.
Yes, that is exactly what we're gonna do as well. So for xGame on the Dire side, for game number 2 of this quarterfinal for the jDL Season 3, Equal will be playing on the Mirana once again, Stalked on the Clockwork this time around with WTF to play the Viper, Reeves on the Enigma, and the last one will be Mantis on that core Naga Siren.
And of course, on the flip side of that coin, for Team Coast, you've got Solon on the Doom. Then you also have Seal Kid handling the Shadow Shaman, Handskin on the Sand King, E-Skills on that Death Prophet, and finally, Ape Mother, who will potentially be taking that safe lane Invoker role. And I also have to ask, since we may as well do this properly, who are you going to be betting on?
I'm just gonna go for Coast because, man, Shadow Shaman plus Death Prophet, you cannot stop the push.
I'm going to bet against you. I'm going to say xGame will take it 2-0, but this is only because I would love to see a good game of Naga Siren and Enigma hitting those black holes, Song of the Siren combos, and just causing all manner of havoc.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely gonna come down to just the early aggression and the Coast. Do you think they're just gonna group up as 5, potentially 4, since Invoker actually isn't the strongest in the level 1 engagements anyway, and just try to block off some of the camps of Enigma to slow down his farm just that little bit? Of course, blocking out the Dire side is harder than the Radiant anyway, but do you think they're gonna go for it?
I think they'll block out 1 or 2 camps. I mean, you can't give an Enigma free roam of a jungle. He will just farm you quickly. It's something that's going to be a big threat, but it doesn't seem like we're actually going to be seeing much in terms of blocking. I expected that 4-man rotation up to the top lane, considering how they were on the map when they were paused, but we only have 1 ward equally for Solon. They're actually going to concede the Enigma his jungle, and he's going to be able to farm up exceedingly quickly. And again, as we mentioned, he is going to be going straight for, say, a BKB or a Lincoln's in our minds, so that is a much larger gold investment than, say, a Mechanism or a Blink Dagger.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting for us to see what items they're gonna go for on which heroes as well. How they're gonna distribute the farm. And actually Mantis, he's the one to play the mid lane Naga Siren. Usually Mantis is the safe lane farmer for them, but of course Naga Siren, so you usually played in the mid lane. That's exactly where they're gonna put him in. And do you think them having a Mirana as the only support really to roam around, that is gonna go for an early point into ensnare, which usually actually isn't the case in mid lane, or is he just going for the full-on standard mid lane, just Riptide as well as Mirror Image?
I'm thinking we'll see Riptide and Mirror Image. I don't see the purpose of the point and ensnare in the early game, and I was honestly expecting a safe lane Naga and then a mid lane Viper, since Viper can win lanes easier than, say, the Naga can in my mind, at least. And you consider that mid lane is going to be a Death Prophet. Viper versus Death Prophet. I favour the Viper. I generally will always favour Viper. It's very hard for Viper to lose a lane.
Yeah, I guess Death Prophet, it's almost the same. Just a Crypt form allows you to stay at a safe distance and still get guaranteed farm. It's fairly spammable as well, especially if, Arrow will fly and, well, miss rather hard, so no kills happening. An Observer comes down to the high ground just in case, but Equal, at least making it so that Mantis will get those early easy last hits to ensure that fast bottle.
Well, if he can get that fast bottle, that's going to be very unpleasant for E-Skills on that Death Prophet. I mean, giving a Naga any kind of advantage can be very problematic, especially considering that she can start spamming Riptide, start bottle crowing. It's thoroughly unpleasant, and honestly not something you ever want to be fighting against. You got to consider, how fast do you reckon we're going to see a Radiance in this game?
Oh man, it's too hard to call. I still think it's going to be 18 minutes in with drums, together with drums. But Arrow, top lane, not gonna hit on Solon. Actually, I think their laning decision might have been affected a little bit by the fact that Doombringer was top lane, and Viper should just completely dominate that matchup even without the Mirana being present at all. So
I can completely agree to that. I mean, the Doom will lose to a Viper in general, just because of, well, I say it time and time again. Viper is the true king of orb walking. There is no one better at it than he is. He just has such range control with the slow potential.
yeah, it's just such a sick ability to go up against as mid lane Mantis and these skills. Just trading blow for blow. Crypts form up against Riptide as Stalkat trying to power cox the creeps in. Actually did a nice job for one creep wave at the very least. Will finally get some more XP for himself. Will be able to hit level 2, but and up against a tri lane, it's going to be so hard for the Clockwork here.
Indeed it is, and it's not so much a tri-lane. You've got to consider this is effectively a double jungle coming out of Team Coast, and wow, mid lane we do get that kill in the mid lane from the Mirana, hitting that arrow, and First Blood goes the way of equal.
Yeah, and actually Mantis has picked up that one point into Ensnare. Didn't even catch it, I just saw the notification pop up. Didn't actually expect that to happen at all, to be honest. But I guess early point into Ensnare, with a nice rotation by Mirana, setting things up. And look at this, Solan. He's actually going into his own jungle from what essentially was a 1v1 matchup.
The problem is here, if Solan's going to be going into the jungle, that's going to take away a good chunk of the experience from the supports. Then again, the Sand King, I expect him to be stacking. Yep, he's stacking up that hard camp. He wants that burst of gold so he can get that Blink Dagger. But the problem here is, you now have 3 heroes effectively in the jungle. This is quite advantageous for xGame, considering they are now farming freely on that top lane. They've got their own jungle going with the Enigma. They've got a fairly decent lane on the bottom lane. The Invoker doesn't do much to a Clockwork, and the Clockwork's getting levels. And finally, at the end of that, you have Mantis, who's doing fairly well for himself.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he will start picking up some more farm now that he has actually points into mirror image as well. Not doing all that hot so far, but at least Reeves, he's doing extremely well. He's gonna hit level 5 within the next creep pretty much. So, free farm Enigma in the jungle, but Stalkat actually might be in trouble on the bottom lane if the smoke catches him by surprise. The cold snap comes in to buy some time Stalkat. He has the power cogs, will he use them as well before? Never mind. He uses the cogs anyway, but actually blocks himself in a little bit there. But the follow-up just wasn't there. They didn't really want to dive the tower.
I think the cold snap was a little bit too early for Mate Mother. He thought his team were closer, and that is the biggest problem. But the Clockwork will continue to be fine, and he is, as I say, getting those levels up. He's got his level 3. He's going to be getting those most likely points up into Battery Assault, depending on how aggressive his team want him to be. The other option is he can get points up into the Rocket Flare and just look to maintain map dominance. But as we stand...
And snare into arrow mid and beautiful setup, but can they get the kill? Riptide, this level 3 mirror image just comes out as well. Leap for the extra attack speed with the Starstorm helping out, man. This setup, the arrow was actually flown out and the ensnare came like halfway through, but on the perfect positioning of the Death Prophet.
I was going to say, as we stand in the mid lane, it's just too much in favor of xGame in my mind. The Naga's getting kills, plural. She's getting farm. Then you've got Equal, who's lurking around, continuing to deliver arrows, and he has his level 4 on that Mirana. This is effectively a style of dual mid, but we've seen the Mirana rotate around, be involved in kills, be moving across lanes. Quite a high level for a roaming Mirana.
Yeah, and they're getting a tower now on the top lane as well, as actually looks like Reeves will be the one going for the mech, has the recipe for Headrest. What the fuck, a 2k gold in the bank for the Viper? What the hell is he gonna go for here? Does he want to just secure some late game, go Midas, or just...
Either Midas or Tread's Drum. Tread's Drum is pretty much as good as, say, Tread's Mech. I only would expect the mech on Modifier because that would open up the possibility for Reeves' BKB, as we mentioned. And I think we both agree a BKB is necessary for the Enigma in this game.
Oh, absolutely. I think there's no way around it, to be honest. And actually, what? Viper? He's the one to pick up mech after all. He just purchased the entire thing. So, casual headrest on Reeves, potentially pipe later along the way.
It wouldn't be a casual headrest, it'll be a pipe. I mean, I suppose that's another good thing. It takes away a lot of the potential from the Sand King. And the Sand King is trying to get as much gold as he can. He's only 1,000 away from having that all-important Blink Dagger, but he's still got a long way to go for it. He's going to be jungling for at least 3 more minutes, if not 4 more minutes. If he
doesn't even have boots at the moment, so just straight out rushing it.
I mean, he could pick up Arcanes, or at least the Arcane Orb, so he's got the extra mana capacity, but it's going to be fairly rough in my mind for Coast. And you've still got Solan, who's having to hobble back to the fountain to regenerate. This is not where you want your Doom to be.
Yeah, it's definitely not looking all that good, considering it should have been a 1v1, which Doombringer should be able to handle, but in the bottom lane, Ape Mother is closing in. Actually, the pause comes out, but he's only 220 gold away from finishing up his Hand of Midas, so going to be that standard Exort Hand of Midas, increasing the farm for the team pretty much, the XP gain as well. And I mean, I guess you couldn't really expect anything else from the Invokers nowadays.
No, I mean, I wouldn't tend to expect it, but I consider the Invoker in this game as a case of, is it going to accomplish anything? Sure, you're going for the Hand of Midas, you're going to look for some form of level acceleration. You already have the recipe, as well as only missing 200 gold. Hell, if we take a quick look at the Invoker and his potential for items, with the potential for that Midas, what would he then go after this? He'd be looking for potentially a Yule's, or maybe a straight sheep stick. He's going for the exhort build. He's going for double forge spirits to look to get some push going.
I
Is
guess
that going to do
Necrobook
anything?
is the most common build.
Sure, Necrobook could be an option, but is it going to accomplish anything? They're going to be pushing into an Enigma. He's just going to maintain control of the creep wave. Sure, risks taking some last will damage if he kills the Necro Warrior. Not going to do much. You got the potential for Cold Snap, as well as the damage of a Sunstrike Meteor, potentially when he gets a point into Wex, but he's suffering. He's not getting any kills early game. His farm, sure, is second on the board, but while all this is going on, you've got a Naga who can just stop any form of aggression with a song. You have that threat of a black hole after the song. You see where I'm going with this? An Invoker needs a lot of free space in a teamfight to cast as he pleases. I mean, casting under pressure, sure, if you're the focuser, you can sometimes get away, but you want free space to be able to move around. You want the rest of your team to be a meat shield in some cases, or being able to stun the enemy with the Epicenter potentially, or the Burrow Strike. And that will give the Invoker time to chain off his combo of spells. You're against xGame's lineup, who are going to be in your face the entire time. Their first priority will be, there's an Invoker, kill it!
Yeah, that's too much true enough, although I guess bursting down a Death Prophet might be a little bit more important, so Ghost, they have to just keep their Death Prophet safe really, to be honest. Just Exorcism, it is almost all the time the majority of the teamfight damage, plus of course just continuous Crypt Swarm spam on top of it. But yeah, Invoker, he's definitely not getting all that much. I mean, it's not like the Hand of Midas is slow, especially considering he went for Boots of Speed first as well, but like you said, he's not getting any kills. xGame, they have 2 kills on the board, both of them involved the Naga Siren. And of course, they also got the tier 1 tower top lane, so they just have it that much better, especially considering Enigma in the jungle on top of it all. And look at the Doombringer, he has himself Gloves of Haste, so they're going for double Midas this game. It might be a little bit too greedy, but I guess Doombringer, struggling as he was, it will help him catch up a little bit.
A little bit too greedy? That's a little bit of an understatement, Couch. I mean, you consider the lineup of xGame and, well, you have a Viper, you have a Naga Siren, you've got the Mirana and the Enigma for setup, Clockwork as well. You've also got 1,500 gold in the Naga's pocket. You're going greedy against a Radiance push-style build. Is that really the right call?
Oh man, it's going to be hard for them. They're definitely going to have to shift their focus up onto Mantis at some point in time, but we are only 6 minutes into the game, so they should have plenty of time to actually start focusing on Mantis as well, especially if the Sand King can actually continue at the pace he's farming at the moment. He might get himself like 8-9 minute blink there, given he has some jungle stacks to actually properly farm up if the Doombringer doesn't eat them all up. So, I mean, this blink there on Sand King is going to be so huge and important for their team. And they have to get it fast enough, that's the only thing. And of course, even if they do get it, they have to ensure enough lockdown on Naga Siren to make sure that he actually doesn't get to pop his song at all.
That's going to be the hard thing. If the Naga gets the Song of the Siren off, the entire fight will just stop. And that's a big problem. If they lose the momentum in the fight, it's just going to derail Coast quite heavily. And speaking of derailing Coast, Solon's having some problems reconnecting, and this is unpleasant.
Yeah, I mean, first game went without a hitch. Did we even have like a start pause for first game? Oh yes, we did.
No, not for first game.
The game at the very start was still paused for like a little while, but it's the customary, like, we're loading into the game, not everybody's picked up their heroes yet pause. But yeah, it's... Man, this kind of blows.
Kinda. Heavily.
Okay, man. The cup is half full, man, not half empty.
You didn't play any games with HeflaTV this week, did you?
Oh no, I didn't. But
Yeah.
I saw you playing with him.
My God.
Fun times raging. For him, at least.
Let's put it this way. You need a rope and pulley system to carry that.
Well, at least the game I saw you play, you actually won, so...
Yeah.
The start was bumpy, man. It was extremely bumpy where Eflam at some point was actually just standing in front of his base and unwilling to move away from there. but
He rages too easily.
yeah.
And that's coming from me. He rages too easily. Oh well, with any luck, we'll get Solon back in as soon as possible. But for the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, if you've got any questions in the chat while we've got this downtime, feel free to ask.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a delay, so there'll be a bit of a delay between you asking and us giving you the answer, but while we're waiting, may as well. Solon's PC fully died, so there's your reasoning.
Man, it's blue screens of death. Although, actually, I don't want to just curse myself at the moment or anything, but I haven't had a blue screen for ages.
You're treading very dangerous territory, and you're the one running the stream. Be very careful with your words.
Man, it's going to be all good. It's going to be fine. Relax. But yeah, fingers crossed. At the moment, though, I mean, 6.5 minutes in almost. Looking at the gold graphs, it's almost a 4,000 gold lead already for xGame. XP 3,000 just about. So, considering it's only 6 minutes in, that is a huge lead for both charts.
It's fairly big lead, yes, but it's still going to be, in my mind, recoverable. I mean, xGame, they have 4,000 effective gold lead, but if, and I stress this is a big if, the double miners can come online and they have enough time to gain from them, it is recoverable. But that's a very tall order, and we have Solon back.
Woo! Yes! We have been blessed with the presence of Solon once again. As how well he's actually doing level-wise. He's about to hit level 6 soon enough. The same applies for Stalkat, only half a level off on the clockwork. So, in levels, offlaners are doing rather well. Net worth-wise, Doom a little bit better off, of course. He has been jungling, at least getting some last hits, plus the Devour working for him. And xGame, they are ready now as well. Go has been given. Yes, we have unpaused.
Success! Joy. Right. Let's see what we can get going in this game.
Equal is actually rotated to the bottom lane, so with the power cogs into Arrow, Seal Kid would be an extremely easy setup. Stalkat a little bit low on mana. Actually, Arrow will not land on Ape Mother. Whew. Was
Goes
pretty
straight
damn close.
past his ear. That went straight past his ear, but now comes the trap trying to close. The Barrow Strike doesn't connect from Hansen, however, and Stalkat turns around, getting very ballsy here. They could look for the potential kill. They still have Mirana looking around, but he's going to be heading towards that mid lane, it seems, and Stalkat, he's going to just lurk around.
There's just no boots on Handscan, and actually Seal Kid lacking them as well, since he hasn't been able to pull through properly, hasn't gotten any farm thanks to it. But mid lane now, there's the black hole coming in, E-skills, he's gonna go down. Seal Kid just wasn't there with the turnaround. That actually easy. Sunstrike comes out with the shackles, War Stomp as well. They might get the kill, a few more right clicks. Nope, they're going for the counter instead. They get the support now. Solon, he's gonna be in trouble. Scorchif already on cooldown. They only need a few right clicks. That's all they really need. Malphite to slow him down a little bit. Leap. And Mantis, he gets himself another kill. He had the double damage. Handscan coming in, might get the Burrow Strike. But is it gonna be enough? Double Burrow Strike into the Sandstorm. Mantis, Riptide, not gonna go for it. Just, they are running away. Actually, Song of the Siren. What? Do they really want to go for the kill all that bad?
If they try to reset on this one, I don't see them succeeding. They're just going to back up with that threat of the song. In all honesty, that was a really damn good fight for xGame. They turned around when Mantis was very low and they still managed to bring down kills. They got a good amount extra right there. And now E-skills is back on lane. He's going to farm up some more, but still, off the back of a fight like that, xGame have all of the advantage in the world.
Yeah, it's just like 3 kills like this, especially since Inaga Siren was involved. I think he got boosted up from like 1.4k gold to 2.3 all of a sudden. Getting his bottle to bottle crow at the moment as well as Stalkat. He's on the hunt, he has his hookshot, Seal Kid. Hookshot in, Power Cogs at better result as well. Don't think he can escape this, maybe. No chance in hell, just Stalkat. Setting up an easy solo kill. 6-0, 8 minutes in. Holy crap, man, Ghost. They're gonna have to come all guns blazing soon enough.
Indeed, soon enough, but this is the one thing I'll raise. xGame have such a lineup where, let's say you're caught alone by the Viper will kill you. Let's say you're caught alone by a Clockwork, the Clockwork will kill you. You're seeing a theme start to develop here.
Oh, just look at this, Reeves. Actually, Equal comes in now as well, but I thought he's going for solo Roshan. Equal. He's backing off, and oh, he has a haste run, creeps one through, gets a few Eidolons for himself. They won't be able to just get any kills, but at the very least, they make it so that Reeves doesn't snag himself a solo Roche.
Well, that's going to help them out at least, but my question here is, can they can they gain anything else off the back of this? I mean, the haste stream's going to help. They could look to push in this mid tier 1, but can they accomplish it? They have Exorcism, but Mantis can stop any fight. Does have Song on cooldown for another 70 seconds, but Ensnare is such a good setup, as we've mentioned, into Arrow potentially, into Malefice, or into the Viper. It just holds the Death Prophet there, and he'll be brought down in no time at all.
Yeah, that is the case, and actually, I'm just wondering when the hell is WTF going to start joining fights? Like, he's been actually, well, just as I say that, he TPs to the bottom lane, so I guess that moment is now. As mid lane, oh, they're going to get the kill on Naga.
The kill on the Naga is huge, and you got to consider that Exorcism is still running as well. They could look to bring down that tier 1 off the back of that one, but hookshot, 8 Mother gets caught this time, and he's going to have a lot of problems. Does get the Forge Spirits off to eat the arrow, but it doesn't matter. There's just too much damage. Surely 8 Mother will go down, but the Shackles from Seal Kid will keep 8 Mother alive a few seconds longer. A couple of right clicks, but he manages to start salving. Can he survive this one? 2 more right clicks will seal his deal, but still standing for a few seconds longer. Gets the ability to escape that one, and I'm thoroughly surprised that they get the Naga for nothing, and now Equal in a lot of trouble. He needs to get a leap out, but he doesn't have it for 10 more seconds. He runs the right way since no one can stop him here. Does dodge the Crypt one, but the Sunstrike will clean that one up. 8 Mother leaves the Mirana as a cinder, as the insolence for trying to kill him.
That was actually pretty sloppy, I think, coming out from Mirana there. He could have bottled up a little bit earlier and actually tried for a arrow snipe on the Invoker after he was already at the tier 1 or close to it. So he could have done it a little bit better since he did have a full bottle and plenty of time to actually use the bottle charges as well. But at the very least, Viper did clean up the bottom tier 1 in the meantime, and now going for tier 2 already. So they did get some form of a trade, but of course the kill on Mantis, like you mentioned, is absolutely huge, and thanks to that, Hansken, he has himself a Blink Dagger with boots on the Sand King.
Well, Blink Dagger with boots for him is going to certainly help out, but Starcat finds Solon in the meantime, and this could be very bad for the Doom, especially when you got Reeves rotating in and WTF finally joining a fight. The Viper Strike drops release kills as well. This could potentially be 2 kills, but in comes the Burrow Strike, as well as the Epicenter. Sunstrike will cinder Reeves, and now WTF in a lot of trouble. Couldn't manage to bring down these kills. They overstayed their welcome. They got a Doom at the loss of 3.
Well, the tier 2 tower fell as well, so making it a little bit better considering that actually mid tier 1 went to... Actually, Mantis didn't get the last hit, but he's up to 3.5k gold. So in a sense, the towers falling did buy Naga the space and the gold necessary to get that Sacred Relic faster, but 3 kills, especially such important kills, a lot of XP given away. Oh, they definitely overextended a little bit. Thought Doom to be an easy kill, but Doom, he's pretty damn tanky, especially with the Scorched Earth, which is ticking away, health regenerating per second. Actually, it's level 3, so 24 health per second. Not bad at all.
Not bad at all, indeed. And you've got to consider right now, we have the Double Midas online for Coast. That's going to be ticking away. And if we look at graphs, you can see it. There has been a little bit of gain for Coast, but that went heavily downhill off the back of that tower set falling. And I have to always keep in mind, you got that Double Midas, the threat of it will potentially add up. The most important thing, though, is the level advantage. We look at 8 Mother, he's level 9. He's going to accelerate very soon and potentially get a good few kills when he gets towards his level 12, but WTF could be the target here on this bottom lane. Starcat is lurking as well. Does he have a hook shot? Yes, he damn well does. They have the ability to fight this one, and WTF does get caught by the Hex. The Shackles, some sort's going to drop it. In comes the hook shot in the backlines. Can WTF survive? Next pop, I don't think he can. He'll go down just to the sheer right clicks, but now in comes the TPs. But Doom is there, ready to fight. Moonlight Shadow's up though, Burrow Strike across 2. That's huge! As well as the Doom is on Reeves. He's not going to survive this one. No Black Hole in this one. And Viper will buy back. Song of the Siren, ready to set this one up. They could have a buyback on the Enigma, but he doesn't have a TP at this point, so there's no point of it. Arrow's going to fly, does impact Hansen, and it's a kill for nothing plus a buyback. That's quite the advantage for Coast.
Yeah, that was a horrible fight for xGame, to be honest, at the moment. Once again, going a little bit too greedy, and now even using the Song of the Siren, putting it on cooldown. It was level 2, thank God for that, only 2-minute cooldown. Oh, they're going to get stunned onto Equal. Coast and follow up as well. Yet another kill. What is xGame doing at the moment? They were ahead 6-0 and now it's 8-8.
Is there any way I could put this tactfully? I think they may have taken a lesson or two from EG.
Holy crap, man, this is unbelievable to be honest. How the hell did it turn out like this?
I don't know.
Maybe the post just rattled with their momentum or something.
That's a possibility, certainly, but I did not expect Coast to be able to fight back into that one so easily. They just took the fight perfectly. They had the detection, they had the ability to deal with the Enigma before he got that black hole off. That's what they need to do in these fights. What an absolute turnaround in favour of Coast. The graph's starting to recover. It's completely recoverable by any stretch of the imagination, and experience for the first time in this game is 1,000 in favour of Coast.
Yeah, this has been absolutely huge for Coast at the moment. Especially considering Goldcraft only 2,500 in the lead for xGame, considering they are 4 towers ahead at this point in time. Or actually, I think it's 3 towers, but still pretty damn huge. But xGame, they still have the dire advantage. They have the Medallion of Courage on Enigma. If they can just clear off the vision, which actually was why Equal died, he was trying to clear off the Observer Ward here with his sentry. If they can go get the Roche, it's definitely gonna boost up just their XP, their gold gain, as well as having an Aegis in the next fight is gonna be huge. And actually, if they do get Roshan, who do you think they're gonna give the Aegis to? Is it just Naga Siren straight off?
I should think so, yes. I mean, they could technically put it on the Enigma to ensure a black hole, but having it on the Naga potentially when she has that Radiance nearly finished, I think it's a much better idea. I mean, she's only 300-400 away from having a Radiance, and that's when this game really does start.
Yeah, it's definitely the case. I mean, that Radiance is going to be so huge as Mass Serpent Wars were used to take down the tier 1 tower. Isk is actually getting the last hit for it on the Death Prophet, and Death Prophet, suddenly, his Evil Scepter is finished. Not looking all that bad, and oh, there's a sneaky smoke coming out from Coast. 3 heroes in the bottom lane. Might be looking at an easy kill onto what the fuck. A Shadow Shaman, of course, doesn't have his Blink, doesn't even have Arcane Boot, but Blink Burrowstrike, will it buy enough time? Reeves is there as well. Moonlight Shadow comes out, sentry down immediately though. They are ready for this, and looks like they will be able to back off.
Indeed, they don't really want to risk that potential threat of a black hole, especially when it's backed up by Stalcat ready to come in with that hookshot for any stragglers. It's quite the worrying thing that Coast always need to be vigilant of, just the threat of the Enigma. And you've got to consider, items are now starting to come online which will help with that. Blink Dagger on the Doom for Coast, that will let him get into the Enigma's face and drop that Doom, completely neutering his ability to turn these teamfights. It's going to be a very powerful item for them, sure. But, more importantly, it is Radiance time.
Oh, let the farming begin for the Naga. So 16 minutes in, my prediction was 18 minutes with drums, but she didn't go for drums at all, just Aquila was enough, and they are going for Roshan now. They have the Song of the Siren in case Coast comes in to try to stop this. Oh, but Solen, he has a Blink Dagger on Doom, so I mean, they are pretty happy and reliant on actually having the Song of the Siren just in case if need be.
Well, the arrow's been drawn, they know Roche is going on. You saw the line drawn in by the Sand King.
Oh man, this Sand King, he has Epicenter as well. This can be huge. Roshan down to quarter of an HP. Mantis, he can always pop the song and they can finish off Roshan if Coast come near enough. Oh, is it going to come down to this?
I think it is. 8 Mother does eat that full 5-second arrow. This could be very bad for 8 here, as Mantis does come forward, still under the cover of that invisibility room, burning everyone down. In comes the song. They do get the Aegis on that Viper, and now this is the setup they need. We're looking for the black hole. Show us the black hole. It drops. It only connects on 2, but that's more than enough. Boroswag comes in a little bit late, does some good damage across the board, but now in comes the Meteor combo, doing huge damage across the Enigma and what a fucker, but still, you lose 2. You've got to buy back immediately by the Shadow Shaman, and Solen will just fall. Triple kill for Mantis.
Well, I think this couldn't have gone any worse pretty much for Coast, or I guess it could have. They could have lost E-skills there as well, but they lost 4 heroes. They had to buy back. They lost Roshan, so xGame, they just got free XP and free gold on top of the Roshan kill at the moment. Plus, can they really pressure the tier 2 as well at the moment? It's possible, as Boots of Travel's finished on Naga Siren already.
I think they could get some pressure going, but I have to consider this. That fight could have been over so much quicker. The positioning on the black hole was just slightly off. They could have caught the Sand King in it as well, and that would have stopped it being cancelled. They could have then cleaned that one up without, say, the Deafening Blast of the Meteor going off. But from where we sit, that's still just a hands-down win for xGame.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure if the black hole would have reached all of them, but even when the black hole didn't reach the Sand King, the Power Cogs pushed him back for just that little bit extra. So they purchased some little extra time, and just that 1 second even of the extra duration of black hole seemed to be enough. And suddenly xGame, I guess looking at the graphs again, once again 5k gold lead, XP, 3k in their favor, and just up and down it goes.
Well, this is the kind of game we wanted, a back and forth bit of trading across the board. And, well, I think we're not going to be disappointed from where we sit. We've also got to consider what other items do we have potentially coming online for these heroes. I mean, Doom, he's potentially going to go for Shiva's next. For the Invoker, we see Your Scepter, I believe, could also be looking for a Necro Book. That's a bit of a mix of items. I mean,
Yeah.
Orchid wouldn't be a bad choice on him either, being able to silence up that Enigma.
Your Orchid definitely wouldn't be a bad item at all, I mean. Even up against Naga Siren, to be honest, up until she gets that Manta style, of course. Which might not be all that far away considering how fast she's farming at the moment.
Yeah, and she already has a Blade of Alacrity. This is going to be quite a quick Yasha, maybe into a full quick Manta for
But
Mantis.
smoke, they might get Mantis now. Blink, Doom, can they get the Doom or Mantis? Yes, they can. Should be dead, Naga Siren. Burrow struck up as well. Moonlight Shadow is there. They're gonna spend the epicenter. They don't care. It's just such a high priority kill. It's definitely worth it.
Yep, but in comes the hookshot off the back of that one. As the epicenter ends, they're going to go straight into Hansen, and he cannot escape this one. That's a Sand King for a Naga. Sure, it's still in favor of Coast, but you got to consider just the extra ability to turn around and get a kill in exchange from xGame. They had the presence of mind to mass TP immediately to that top tier 1. And now, with those TPs on cooldown, can they defend this tier 2 on the bot lane? That's the question. Mass 7 wards are deployed, and oh no, not again. This time we lose the Clockwork.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate at the moment. At the very least, Clockwork didn't have a huge part to play in stopping this push since the hookshot already in cooldown as well as his TP. So it just has to run all the way back to base anyway. So that's a good part, but pauses are never good for you. What the fuck, should be able to tank things up and just clear off the Mass Serpent wards. He has the Aegis, of course you don't want to lose it just randomly. You usually want to go for a fight and actually take advantage of having it. But man, just the Mass Serpent wards and Exorcism, it's so hard to stop the push.
Indeed, it's so hard to stop the push, but here's my little point I'll throw into this one. Hard to stop the push, yes. Naga Siren can, with her illusions, clean up those Serpent wards if she was alive. That would be a good thing. And the other one that can is the Eidolons, without really risking much of the heroes in terms of their own health pool. But the most important thing here are the Blink Daggers. What Blink Daggers do we have online for xGame? Do we have a Blink on the Enigma? No. He's going for that BKB instead. If he had the Blink, they could jump over the wards and try to deliver a black hole. Instead, he's relying on the Song of the Siren to set up, and the Naga, in this case, is the linchpin. You kill the Naga, you deal with the Naga, the Enigma then gets neutered.
Yeah, just Naga definitely priority number 1, just because he can disrupt everything Coast has to throw at them otherwise. And, well, speaking of the BKB on Enigma, he's actually only a recipe away. Mithril already on the courier waiting for it. So, 200 more gold, Enigma gonna have his BKB, and then they will have only one thing to actually stop it. So, Doom, does he want to invest his ultimate onto the Enigma, or will they just let the Enigma roam free?
I think if they use the Doom on the Enigma, they could certainly be shooting themselves in the foot. If the Enigma isn't in a position where he can deliver a black hole, I don't think they need to waste the Doom per se. If they're going to use the Doom on anyone to stop a fight being propagated by xGame, they need to use it on the Naga when she's alive. I mean,
Yeah,
they should save the Doom in this case.
Ultimately, it's a pretty nice way xGame drafted in a sense, because there are 2 heroes that like 100% would like to get doomed, but you can only choose one of them. So
yeah, but until the Enigma has a Blink Dagger, you only really need to take out the Naga.
well, last time around we did see a pretty decent black hole coming out with just the Song of the Siren setup, so I guess that's also always a possibility. But we will see. He has reconnected Stalkat that is on the Clockwork, so hopefully everybody else is also ready.
Well, hopefully we're going to be getting this game back underway, and we'll see what happens at this tier 2 on the bottom lane.
Ape Mother has his Necro level 1 flying out as well to him at the moment, so can pop them to increase the pushing power a little bit, of course. Necro level 1s, they die pretty easily, so you don't really want to feed away Necrobooks, just so much gold and XP towards the enemy otherwise.
Well, they need to clean up these wards. The exorcism is forced away. Aegis reclaimed in 3 minutes, so they've got plenty of time to make use of it, but going straight into a fight head-on, I don't think will be the right call. Sure, Wadafucker is fairly tanky, he's got an Aghanims, he's got a mech, can brawl. I think it's a case that xGame want to take the surgical approach. They don't want to try to brute force. They want to come in with the scalpel, get a good kill or 2, and then dice up the rest.
Yeah, I definitely think that you are spot on with that at the moment. It just, there's no need for them to really brute force it either. Naga Siren, he can just be split pushing, getting the farm, getting the Manta style finish before he goes for anything else. And actually, he's in possession of the gem at the moment. Naga Siren, I guess one of the safest carriers of a gem just because of the Song of the Siren ability to escape. Unless exactly what happened last time around happens again, just he gets doomed before he even pretty much sees the enemy. But top lane, Solen. Equal wants to fish for it. There's a double damage room bottled up as well. So if the arrow connects, but it's not going to.
But he's cut off now. In comes the Mirana from the back. They can catch Solen, that'll be huge. But unfortunately, Starcut's hook impacts the Enigma. And now we get the potential for a turnaround. Hanskin will come in, get the Burrow Strike and equal, but Solen doesn't really want to invest the Doom on this. He has to be very careful. Respect Reeves in the presence of the Black Hole, especially now What the Fucker is rotating in.
Yeah, What the Fuck actually going for a BKB as well, having the Ogre Club ready. So they're playing it safe. And I guess Viper having a BKB, Aghanims plus a mech. Oh man, how hard is it going to be to bring that hero down? Just almost impossible, I would like to say. But of course, nothing is impossible. They will get the tier 2 tower though, by the looks of it. Coast not even making an effort to defend this.
No, in all honesty, they can't either, just because of the threat of the travels on that Naga more than anything. Just being able to come in, disrupt the fight, and then set up for the Black Hole. But coming back to the Naga for a second, you were on about she's one of the most reliable gem carriers. I'll agree to that, but there is another reason. The gem, the vision propagates to all the illusions, and now Solen will be the focus. Does get the Viper Strike thrown on him. Do they have the damage to bring him down? No. He's going to be safe in the base for a few seconds longer, but now they've got the Naga here. This is what they need. Do they go with the song? Midnight Pulse is down. Mantis is thinking about it, but eats a Sunstrike for his efforts for now. And now they use the Ewells up onto the Viper. What the fuck is going to have to back off, but now we get the Moonlight Shadow. Where is this fight going to start? They need to see more heroes on this front line before they commit with the Naga's song. Otherwise, they will all just back up. But in comes Waterfucker, will throw another Viper Strike, this time onto E-Skills. The Aegis is reclaimed in 30 seconds. They need to make use of this now, before it times out. Now comes the hook shot, does go straight into the Shadow Shaman, at least that will be cleaned up nicely, and that's a dominating spree for Stalcat. But Viper Strike will fly once more, this time onto Hanskin, disabling his Blink Dagger, and this is just the threat of the extended siege. In a siege scenario, xGame win.
Yeah, this just has so much sustain, what the fucker. Oh, 5 seconds, he has to still be a little bit careful. Another Viper Strike, actually dodged nicely by the Sandstorm, but there's the hit Blink, Burrow Strike onto what the fucker, gonna lose his age just second. Before it expires. Holy crap, that timing, just a little bit off, like 1 second. Oh man.
Starcat will just come in and clean up another. He is the scalpel in this case. The Clockwork is the scalpel. Now they'll catch the arrow onto 8 Mother. That was a last second Aegis. That's the first time I've ever seen it used on the last second.
I mean, Coast, they must have had the timing as well, but just 1 second off. So unfortunate. It could have been so huge. If Viper hadn't come back, I think xGame could have just crumbled in that fight altogether.
I'll agree to that one.
And not to be, so the siege slowly continues. Tower only down to a quarter of an HP. Mantis though finally is like, yeah guys, I've had it. I'm just gonna go far and push out yet another lane now. And I mean, we have one outer tower left to take care of, so just play it safe.
But now we get a blink forward from Doom. Someone looking for another potential kill, but doesn't get one this time. Oh no, not again. Who's it going to be this time? Start the roulette wheel.
We're looking at proper pause gaming right about now. I mean, third pause. The first 2 ones were pretty damn long, to be honest, as well, so I just have my fingers crossed that the third one will just break the curse.
With any luck, you hope.
But looking at the graphs again now as we are paused anyway, and Go has been given, well, yeah, well, it wasn't all that long, but still an 8,000 gold lead for xGame at the moment. XP sitting around 5,000 or so. 24 minutes in, they're looking pretty good considering how much map control they have, and I don't think they're gonna let up on it anytime soon, considering Nagasiren, he can just push out every single lane at the same time almost.
If you can keep those lanes pushed out, that's going to be a heavy advantage, but this is one of the problems that Coast need to deal with. They need to A, deal with that Naga and a potential to split push, but B, equally, they need to take these towers. This tier 1 is still standing 25 minutes into this game.
Yeah, Ghost, they're the ones supposed to just have a pretty ridiculously strong pushing lineup. But Mass Serpent Wars down, a TP coming in, Geek will though gonna get silenced up, Burrow Strike as well. Sunstrike will connect and get the kill. Well, that TP was a little bit hopeful. Actually, more TPs are coming. Mantis does cancel it. Equal even bought back for this. What?
They were looking for the Song of the Siren off the back of that one. If they caught that Song of the Siren off the back of that, that would have been huge. But now, Mantis is stuck down here with no TP for 47 seconds, so he's going to make his decision. He's going to start damaging the tier 3. And that's absolutely perfect decision making. But in the main fight, the Doom will fly and they'll bring down the Viper. The Exorcism, however, did get spent for that one, and arrows are going to continue flying, and they're going to TP back to try to stop this Naga Siren, who's already done a good amount of damage. But the hookshot does come through, and they will at least clean up the Death Prophet in exchange.
Oh man, the Blade Mail! Literally, the Blade Mail just killed E-Skills. The full brunt of Exorcism went into Clockwork since he was the only hero around at the time, only target for it. So excellent item pickup there, and I guess all in all, by the end, wasn't that bad of a trade for xGame. They did still have buyback on equal, but it's a support Mirana. Doesn't really hurt him all that much. Plus, of course, just killing off E-Skills, Death Prophet. He has been shut down pretty hard this game. But Naga Siren, he's still not as big as you would kind of expect. Manta Style is going to be finished now. Gonna help out a little bit, but xGame, they are definitely not in the clear yet, not by any means.
No, they're not. I mean, the Death Prophet, as well as the lineup of Coast, do have that pushing power. And if they can just bring that to bear on a tower, it will melt. But the fights so far have been so heavily in xGame's favor. They have taken the right fights. And now we have that Manta online for Mantis. This starts to add up and be a phenomenal force to deal with.
Yeah, and Roshan is about to respawn in about 30 seconds as well. So xGame, can they once again just take good advantage of that tire size advantage for themselves? Or will Coast now, this time around, actually be able to stop it properly?
I have a feeling they'll be able to take Roshan without much contest, but now Hanskin's going to continue farming up with Boris Strike. I thought he might decide to go aggressive onto Wadafaka there, considering they had the Death Prophet, but they didn't want to get that aggressive.
Yeah, at least Sealkey doing a pretty nice job of actually carrying sentries around at all times, just making sure xGame doesn't have any proper aggressive vision. So, not gonna lose any unnecessary heroes, just in their own jungle trying to farm up or something like that. While in the meantime, Solan has picked himself up a Shiva's card, definitely will help out than just, first of all, reducing the physical damage output of xGame, plus even just clearing off the illusions, to be honest.
Well, they need to keep those illusions down. If those illusions stay up for too long, you just look at how much harassment they're doing to Solan here. He's just being chased by illusions. He tried to kill one wave already, and another just shows up to ruin his day. He's just going to be forced back repeatedly.
Yeah, those illusions, man. If they ever find a support... Actually, did they find Sealkid, or Sealkid just taking damage from the jungle creeps? Not too sure, but...
That's just jungle creeps.
Oh, actually, Stalkat might be in trouble. Hanskin, he blinked in aggressively. Cogs come out. Mulachero is there as well. Epicenter not being used yet. Sunstrike. They used the dust as well. Stalkat probably not going to survive. He has the blade mill activated. Actually, Hanskin taking a lot of damage. Hookshot misses thanks to the Force Staff. They get the kill, but Ape Mother, he got a 5-second arrow into his back. Yule Scepter though. Oh, the Epicenter, what? They actually turn it around. E-Skills coming there, saving Ape Mother. But Mantis, he has arrived. 1 kill. Can he set up more? I think Ape Mother is gone.
Ape Mother should go down here as well. I don't see him being able to escape this one all too easy. He's just burning. And now E-Skills will be the focus of this one as well. They've got Reeves in the line as well. They don't even need the black hole. And they are just burning everyone.
Well, it was almost good for Coast. Almost. I thought that they actually will get the kill on Clockwork and just be able to back off, but... Or actually Clockwork as well as Mirana. But not to be. Nice rotations by xGame, just great usage of the Song of the Siren as well, which actually now, after those kills, is going to be level 3. For that kill, still was a 2-minute cooldown, but from now on, 1-minute cooldown. What the fuck? Has his BKB, and on top of that fight, they're gonna get the easiest Roshan of their lives.
Indeed, this Roshan should go down to no contest, and xGame once again having an Aegis. This time I believe Cheese as well, I'm not 100% certain on that one.
No, it's the second one.
Okay, it's the second. But from this game and this perspective, xGame do have one distinct advantage, and we can see that in the net worth. 7,500 as well as nearly 7,500 experience as well. Wadafaka getting that Aegis once more, has that Maelstrom now on the Invoker to try to do something in favour of the Ape Mother, but the Invoker's just not paid off this game. But Stalkat...
Yeah, he's going to go down. Sealkid coming in as well. Less double damage. One Ender Shock will be enough probably. Sunstrike just in case, and Doom does get the kill, so maybe they can delay out the push, although I'm not too sure if xGame actually care about the Clockwork all that much. They're going to get the tier 2 anyway.
Indeed, and with this tier 2 potentially going down, even with Stalkat missing, they still need to contend with a black hole, a Song of the Siren which will be up in 22 seconds. And, well, in all honesty, the full brunt of xGame minus Clockwork, it's just too much to deal with at this point.
Man, Naga Siren has 5.1k gold. He just purchased something, a Heart of the Rask recipe. What the fuck, I can't stop any of the TP, Sealkid, as well as Soul and TP out. Master Petors were used, just gonna get farmed up by what the fuck, but Naga Siren, he's gonna have his Heart of the Rask. Even if he gets doomed, it's going to be extremely hard to actually bring him down even afterwards. And Reeves, he's going for that Lincoln Sphere on top of his BKB on the Enigma, just to make 100% sure, or maybe even use Lincoln Sphere on somebody else, as Stalkat also finishes up his own BKB. So there are 3 BKBs on xGame now. They are as ready as ever to take a fight.
Yeah, and the most important thing to mention is those Lincoln Spheres. Well, the Lincoln Sphere on Reeves. just the ability to mitigate Doom as well as that BKB. That is a guaranteed 100% cast Black Hole. There is no way to stop it for Coast, and I don't see anyone picking up an Abyssal Blade in any way, shape, or form soon. But Solon is building a refresher. That can do it. If you really want to use 2 Dooms worth of spells onto an Enigma, if he's really that big a threat. But from where we sit, could see a little bit of potential aggression going towards Solon. Is he going to go into what a fucker here? Viper Strike drops. He has to invest Doom, surely. He's just going to TP out instead, though. We do get hook shot flying through. I believe Stalker actually hit Reeves with that one, and Hanskin lurking nearby, playing very dangerously, but does have that invisibility room for a few more seconds.
Yeah, I think that was the second hookshot actually ran into Reeves like that.
Third,
okay, well, even worse. But it's not like they lost too much, but look at Hanskin. He is just creep skipping at the moment, and whoa, Death Prophet Spirit right here in the trees.
Well, I honestly don't know. I'll just accept that and move on. We do get that Lingers Sphere, pick it up for the Enigma now. And honestly, I'm looking for another tier 3 fight. Looking for that Song of the Siren setup. We want to get a big black hole. Arrow's going to fly. Does it impact? Catch a Seal Kid in the far back lines. That's going to be a 5-second stun, but where is the rest of the setup off the back of this one? Now we've got the Naga Siren and Mantis present, and I think it might just be time to go. Whatafucker does go frontline. He has the Aegis, however. Do we have the Song? Do they even need the Song? But there are too many BKBs. They already forced the Aegis. In the meantime, backlines, Mantis does get doomed, and Black Hole connects on 8 Mother. He's not going to be able to escape this one, but E-Skills is there. The BKB did get popped by Reeves, so there's no way to cancel that one, and Solon needs to TP out. They've only lost the Shadow Shaman so far, but in comes Hanskin, does get that epicenter off, doing good amount of damage, but it does not matter. Buyback by 8 Mother. He wants to fight back into this one, but Whatafucker is under the full force of the exorcism at this point, and E-Skills will still go down to that damage over time, and it's a triple kill for Whatafucker, but Solon will come in to clean up that Viper at the end of the day, so make that a 4 for 4 trade plus the buyback in favor of xGame minorly.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Aegis on xGame as well, and Mantis, he got doomed straight away, so he couldn't do anything at all. The fight actually went rather well for Coast, considering that Sand King actually, I thought him coming in without the epicenter might be a huge mistake, and he wouldn't be able to get his epicenter off at all, but he did. Wasn't too impactful, but at least he did something. But even though the racks were held Coast, they still traded even. But Mantis, he was the only one to survive, so another 3.8k on the Naga Siren. He's just farming way too much at the moment. So what do you think his next item is actually going to be? Is it going to be just Diffusal Blade or Butterfly or what?
I was considering Butterfly, but Diffusal sounds like a better item in all honesty. I mean, the ability to slow down, say, the Doom when he's trying to escape or such. It's just too good an item to pass up, plus the mana burn. It's one of the items that make Naga such a big threat. I mean, Illusion Heroes and Diff Blade, they go hand in hand.
Yeah, I mean, I also agree that it would be pretty damn strong, just the Illusions. They are so hard to be brought down at the moment. Maybe with the epicenter, of course, they can still do it. But, oh, Solon just got the TP out. Doom was used onto Stalker just so he can't Battery Assault. So, Doom on cooldown now for 90 seconds xGame. They probably have their opening. They won't have the Black Hole for another 77 seconds as well, but don't think they actually need it all that bad considering how farmed Mantis is.
Indeed, Mantis' farm is just becoming borderline insane. He's already got that Diff Blade that we both mentioned, and he's just continuing to farm up so heavily. I mean, what does he go for after this? He's got pretty much 6 slot with that gem. He could upgrade the Diff Blade, that's about it, but that would waste charges. And honestly, xGame, I think they may have this one in the bag.
Yeah, it's hard to not agree with you at the moment, to be honest. This Naga Siren, not sure if it can be stopped. I mean, yes it can, but the stars need to be aligned. Doom, of course, will have his refresher orb finished soon enough. Actually, I'm about 300 gold away from it, so it's going to be pretty damn fast. But if he goes for it, he's not going to have buyback, and that might also be a huge issue for them as Hanskin. Can he escape Burrow Strike? Yeah, TP out. That's one of the biggest weaknesses of a Viper, I guess. You just can't really stop TPs.
No, you can't, and it's pretty much the only weakness. But a MKB wouldn't go amiss on him potentially if he goes for any form of evasion on the Coast lineup. It's a case that Coast can go for, say, a Heart and E-Skills, and he's going to be finishing that up soon. They can just go for the tankier approach and then just tank up fully against the Viper. That works in some way, shape, or form, but you got to consider what else is coming up for Coast here. Now they've got that refresher onto Solon. They've got Sealkid who would want a Blink Dagger. Now they can look to potentially push this tier 2. And if they go for the tier 2, where is the defense going to come from? I mean, you've already got siege going on in the mid lane from the Naga Illusions. You could have a siege going on the bottom lane with the pushing power of xGame.
Plus, they used Mass Serpent Wards and the Necrobook for it, so their fight in the defense is going to be so much weaker.
Indeed, it will be much weaker, and this is the big problem. I mean, they're going to invest to push instead of looking to defend. I mean, they need to get these towers down aggressively, I completely agree, but if they can't defend their own base, that's pretty much null and void. And now we're starting to look to set up this next big fight. Do we have that black hole? Yes, we damn well do. So we're just looking for a potential Song of the Siren to completely turn this one around. I'm using the word potential a lot in this game, so my bad on that
Mantis,
one. But Doom goes on to
Doom.
Mantis. Now they're going to look to chase down that Naga. A couple of right clicks could spell his Doom, and certainly a couple of right clicks. He's still very tanky up with that song though, and with the heart. But gem on the deck, and that is just going to be left there for now. But meantime, bottom lane tier 3 does go down. Arrows are going to fly through. I don't think they're going to get anything else off the back of this one. Solon did immediately use that refresher, so he has another Doom ready to go, and they could look to fight.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit sloppy from Mantis. He thought that he can get an easy kill on the Sand King, who thought, or I don't know, baited it out, I guess, that he thought there was no vision when he's in the Sandstorm. Or, well, he acted like he didn't know there was. But real nicely done. Of course, Equal might be in trouble now as well, mid lane. He's gonna actually get a lot of stuns, and he goes down. His leap was still on cooldown. Ape Mother with the Maelstrom extra attack speed, maxed out into Alacrity, or not Alacrity, into Vex. At least had the free Vex balls activated. They can actually push the tier 2 from this.
Well, they can push the tier 2, and especially with the attack speed now coming up for Ape Mother. This is where the Midas has paid off. It long ago paid for itself. It's now basically just churning out more experience, and if he gets that level 25, it's going to be absolutely huge. And in the meantime, we do have Solon ready to come in and doom anyone who tries to defend, and there'll be a tier 2 down. So all the outer towers now, except that tier 2 on the bottom lane, are down in favor of Coast, but can they hold their racks? They've got 2 full sets of exposed racks, so it's going to be a very uphill struggle for Coast still. It's doable.
Yeah, they're playing their cards right at the moment at the very least. Looking at the XP, it's zeroed out actually. We are 38 minutes into the game now. XP graph 0. Gold graph though, a slightly different story, about a 13,000 gold lead for xGame. Roshan still not up, got almost a full respawn timer, about 10 minutes and 50 seconds altogether. 4-step picked up on Stalkat as well. Heart of the Resk finished on Watafaka. Mantis actually has a Talisman of Evasion now even. So going for the Butterfly next. E-skills. His own Heart of the Resk was finished just before he TP'd back into base after the tier 2 push of their own. But E-skills, can he escape the incoming camp? I have my doubts. BKB.
No, I don't think he will, but now you got Starcat just looking to bring down E-skills. Does get throw the Yules onto the Viper to buy some time, but Hookshot is there. They're going to lock him down, gets caught in the cogs. There's no escape from this one, and that's a pretty major kill going the way of xGame.
Yeah, he has buyback, thank god for Coast, but even getting the buyback out of him is going to be a huge win for xGame if they actually go for it as Mantis. He's heading towards the mid lane instead, where Solon and Hanskin are, so he has to be careful. Maybe try to bait it out with an illusion or something, but yeah, he's not going to go there himself, just leaves the illusion to do this pushing. You know, I was for a second afraid that he's going to go man mode up against them, but whew, thankfully not.
You can't really man mode versus a Doom who has 2 Dooms. No matter what you do, you can't. But we've got a push now starting to build in this bottom lane, and the staggering power of xGame is starting to be fully brought to bear, and we're just looking for that setup. Moonlight Shadow to start this. Tornado's going to fly though. They need to just buy some time for this Moonlight to wear off. This Song of the Siren could potentially ruin Coast completely. And now drops the Mass Serpent, was looking for that tier 3. Buyback, however, from the Death Prophet, but Song of the Siren set up. This is going to be a big black hole. It goes on to Ape Mother and Solon. This is absolutely huge, and they're going to bring down the 2 big cores. But in comes that Epicenter, does some good damage across the board, but can't bring down anyone. He's lost his steam. He just can't do enough, and you've got E-skills buying back, as well as Ape Mother and Solon. They're going to be able to turn this one around a small extent, but now they're going to throw that second Doom onto Wadafucker. He's stuck into the air with the Yules. He'll potentially be brought down, but now where is the rest of the fight? Solon gets stunned up, but Meteors still fall. Now we get a second Doom, I believe, but there is just too much damage being thrown around. The Exorcism going to completely heal up E-skills, and they at least hold their racks. They lost the Viper in exchange for, I believe, Invoker, Doom, and the Shadow Shaman. Of course, 2 buybacks were spent there, and it does add up, but eSkills does get stunned out by another Rogue Arrow, and I don't think they're going to get anything else off the back of this one. They did manage to finish the Clockwork up at the end of that fight, but as far as I'm concerned, a good defense out of Coast.
Yeah, it's, I mean, whatever it takes really at this point in time. Range Rex almost went down, but it's completely fine as long as they're up, and even if range fell, I guess even that wouldn't be that big of a deal really. And considering the way things started for that fight, it's... Oh, Coast, man. 4 buybacks. But, can they hold on to the next push that is coming now? By that time, Refresher probably will have cooled off for Doom already, and Double Doom is definitely a necessity. But just the setup of the Song of Siren into Black Hole with a Linken's BKB, it is almost impossible to stop, like we already discussed previously, unless Solen really wants to just use both of his ultimates onto the Enigma, which probably will be a fail in itself. But actually, Toast, if they sneak the Roshan now, it's going to be a huge win for them, and they're going to do it pretty fast with the Mass Serpent Wars, Necrobooks, Alacrity, and the Force Spirits. It's going to be cheese, plus an Aegis, of course, Naga Siren. Mantis, he's coming in, he's going to be fast enough though.
I'm in complete agreement. If they can get this Roshan, it'll be such a big lead for Coast. But now comes the Song of the Siren. Do they have the Black Hole? I don't think they do. Still got a minute cooldown, but can they kill eSkills and 8 Mother off the back of this one? They want these kills. They need these kills. Forcing BKBs immediately. They're going to try to focus on 8 Mother. They get BKB out of Reeves as well as from Salcat, but they're trying to focus Solen down, and Solen is just standing and tanking. He is brawling among the best. Now you got Epicenter and the Exorcism as well. They can bring down Mantis with these. They forced the Aegis already, so it's already wasted, but can they get any more kills off the back of this one? Mantis will look to bring down these skills and successfully manage to, with Equal coming in as well to ensure the kill. And still stuck in the pit, you've got 8 Mother and Solen. 8 Mother's going to force up to the high ground. Solen needs a hook shot, and there is no escape from Mantis. He picks up the triple, and xGame still fighting strong.
Yeah, just excellent fight for them. As actually Hanskin might get Stalkat. If you would right-click Sandstorm as well, yes, the Sand King gets that kill, but it is just not enough at this point in time. I mean, there was a cheese and an Aegis on Coast, and they still lost the fight. They used the Doom on Viper as well.
8 Mother, he actually goes full out aggressive. He turns around realizing he was near enough dead, and at least kills the Mirana in exchange. And we get a butterfly for the Naga now.
Oh man, Mantis actually almost stopped Hanskin's TP out from the base, but the Ensnare, just as the TP went out, would have been about to land. But in any case, xGame, they take a huge win. Boost of Travels still on cooldown for another 40 seconds, so Mantis won't be joining the push as fast, but he actually upgraded the Diffusal to level 2, but he didn't use a single charge on the level 1 Diffusal before. He actually would have gotten some easier kills, chased down the Invoker a little bit faster, or actually chased him down himself, had he used the Diffusal earlier on, but I guess in the end, didn't matter all that much. Did I see an AC on somebody as well? AC, yeah, it's finished on 8 Mother actually.
Well, the AC is going to help him tank up, but they can't hold these that easily. They're losing their final tier 3 in that mid lane, but all now sets of racks are exposed, and they're just going to start cracking on this middle full set. I mean, they're going to bring down the melee racks very quickly, then they're going to look to bring down that range racks in the mid lane, and they'll get their first full set off the back of that. But equally, you have Mantis on that bottom lane shredding those racks. You're losing racks on 3 lanes right now. You even have an illusion up on that top lane, but Reeves comes in. Mantis picks up an easy kill onto the Shadow Shaman. Now you got Solen alive on the Doom, and he's going to TP in, but can he get anything off the back of this one? He looks for Reeves, does catch him with the Shivas, but in comes the potential Doom. Song of the Siren though from Mantis stops that. It's Black Hole time. They get E-Skills and Solen. There is no escape. They lose E-Skills, they lose Solen, but the Epicenter comes in on the back lines. It doesn't do anything. It barely tickles the side of xGame, and GG is called. It's 2-0 to xGame KZ.
Yeah, just extremely well played in both games to be honest. Game number 1, extremely strong showing. As in game number 2, they did get off to the good start that was necessary for their lineup and just hold the momentum completely of Coast themselves. But an xGame, they just were the better team here.
I'm in complete agreement. xGame, they've shown us what they can do. In the first game, quite a aggressive style of play. In the second game, more tactical, more surgical. They get their initiation with the Song of the Siren. The Enigma didn't have a Blink Dagger in that entire game. And if there's one item when you think of Enigma, it's Blink Dagger. He didn't need it this entire game. And the Black Holes were just on point.
Yeah, just catch the 2 cores and you'll be fine. But guys, this is gonna be it for today then. Only 2 games, unfortunately. But xGame did advance to the semifinals where they will be playing up against... Oh man, it's not gonna be Power Rangers because Power Rangers are waiting in the grand final, but... Just a second, guys. I totally know who it is. Oh, it's gonna be Screen Squad actually. So it's going to be played whenever the teams actually have time for it. We don't know the schedule quite yet. But thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed as well. And if you did, you can always follow us on this channel as well as HeflaTV 2 and HeflaMock, the English coverage for Dota on HeflaTV, as well as our social media, HeflaTV for both Facebook and Twitter. The links are below the stream. And of course, huge thanks to Blackadder for casting with me. And where can people find you?
They can find me both on Twitch and Twitter at Mr_Blackadder, and I'll be going live on my channel in about 30 minutes with some games for the evening, I think, just to wind down.
So you can check him out there, Mr_Blackadder, like he said, on Twitch, about 30 minutes time. But this is going to conclude it for us today then. So once again, much appreciated that you came and hope to see you another day. But for now, have a good one.
Peace out, guys.